FasTracks is the name of RTD's voter-approved 12-year program to expand rail and bus service throughout the RTD service area. Scheduled for completion in 2017, FasTracks will create 6 new rail corridors, extend 3 existing corridors, build 18 miles of bus rapid transit service, add 21,000 new parking spaces, redevelop Denver Union Station, and expand bus service across the 8-county district. The North Metro Corridor, which this case study focuses upon, is one of the FasTracks projects. This project involves a proposed 18-mile transit corridor between Denver Union Station and 162nd Avenue, passing through Denver, Commerce City, Thornton, North Glen, and unincorporated Adams County.
RTD takes public involvement very seriously. We realize how valued it is to get the public to provide input and feedback into the project that is going to integrate into their community. And so we do value it. We do invest a lot, not only just in money, but in people resources into the public involvement process. And we believe in it.
The way we tried to approach that was through a multi-layer process. Typically, during an environmental impact statement, you have big public meetings where people come in and make their comments. We still had those meetings, which people who are used to providing their feedback and getting their information that way, they could do that. But we tried to reach out to maybe people who hadn't been through an environmental impact statement process before, try and embrace new technology.
Our goal was to have multiple options and multiple methods of participation. We all know participation is important, but how you participate, when you participate, and what method you use was really important for us. So
we had a very large Hispanic Latino population going through the city and county of Denver, that we had a specific program targeted specifically for those that didn't speak English as their first language.
We had public meetings, we had newsletters, we had mailings, we had a digital video project where we would share people what meetings that they've missed, and they could see that if they haven't made them, they could catch up.
We have gone almost to every public meeting held by Thornton or RTD or whoever is having a public meeting. We have tried to make that priority because we wanted to be informed.
You see people that were for it that are probably more quiet than the people that are against it.
And often people get involved out of concern, but I think one of the big pluses people will see if they stick with it is a lot of things that they're concerned about early on, usually out of fear of the unknown, they can actually influence to have it work out to be perhaps a positive, and we had a lot of that on North Metro.
Them being able to guide their own elected leaders and their own community members in what we want as a community is really key, and I think more and more citizens are learning that they have the power to actually affect change.
Citizen participation is vital. Local government experts like Gene Putman are dedicated to serving the people in their communities.
And what you need to do is citizens is go there, pick the information that is of concern to you.
Will the prairie dogs be relocated? Because they are a main food source for the wildlife in our area.
Early involvement is very important to a planning process.
When we go out and put notices out that we're having initial public meetings, people should pay attention to that, and they should jump on the bandwagon and take advantage of that opportunity to go to these meetings. It does maybe take a night out of your schedule, but if you really want to have an impact, that's the best way to start the process.
North Metro Corridor project managers Dave Shelley from RTD and Joe Rakoski from the consulting firm URS, along with the project team, implemented the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA process, which requires public involvement and in this case includes preparing an environmental impact statement.
We geared all of the public involvement around particular milestones in the project so that people's comments and influence, that those were focused on the decisions at hand in that phase of the project.
The comments at the beginning of the project were very general in nature. As we moved through the project, the comments that were coming in from the public became very specific, and I think it reflected their knowledge that they had acquired through the process of specific items.
We also went beyond our meetings, and we went to their neighborhood meetings. We went to the Haven, we went to the Eastlake neighborhood associations and talked to them and listened to them. Rather than expecting them to come to our meetings, we would send our representatives to their meetings and listen to them.
Are we still running the tracks through the oil storage tanks in the refinery area?
I personally think that RTD has done a very good job in allowing the public input and listening.
And that's something that is sometimes difficult for people because they come in with the fear or with the preconceived notions that you've decided everything. But it's something that it's my job and it's a project's job to let them know, thank you for coming, this is what's going on, inform them, and then listen to them, and then tell them and show them what they've told us, how has that been translated.
The public was instrumental in providing the project team valuable and effective comments, especially in the area of transit stations.
Locations of stations were a very big part of our public input and outreach in these communities.
Our house is about 2/10 of a mile west of the proposed station.
The Eastlake Station at 124th Avenue, the City of Thornton has had a big transit-oriented development effort in parallel with the North Metro effort, and that's coming together nicely.
The quality of the station locations is going to influence the choice of the alignments.
Yeah, stations is, once we start the project, we start with a lot of ideas as a funnel, you could say, with public involvement. As it narrows down, stations is one thing. We looked at the community wanted some stations, they wanted more parking, less parking, they wanted trails next to the stations. What we created were station committees, where citizens from that local area would come together with us and work with our station planners, our engineers that actually know the structural aspects of this.
And we need a little bit of straight track on either end of these things. By the time you add all that up, you're at about 1,000 feet length of straight track.
How do you balance the sometimes competing demands of how does the station work for the transportation system, and then again, how well does it work for some of the development opportunities? And sometimes those are a bit in conflict, and we have to work out where's that proper balance. And
it was really a participatory workshops that we had with them that really made a difference and added value to some of these stations. And some of these stations where people then realized, yes, we do need a station, because if we don't have one here, there's negative impacts on the southern end or northern end of this area. So I think the process was well understood, openness of it, and participation was really fruitful.
Try to walk in the other person's shoes. What's advantageous to the government? Maybe you can give them some ideas that increase the value of the project for them as well as for you. Because ultimately, it's not just about making a bargain or negotiating, it's about a win-win for the community, the government, and the landowner.
People's voice in numbers is how you get the best project possible.
I think one of the powerful things is how much we see the audiences change in their feelings about a project from the beginning of a project to the end. And I think a lot of it is just not knowing. It's a lack of information or understanding about the project that's going to integrate into their community.
Your voice is going to be a difference. All the community members is going to make that difference. And without that voice, these projects unfortunately still get built. But you need to make sure that you have the time, you make a little time.
Get involved. I mean, if the people are genuinely doing the transportation planning where they really want the public and agency input, then yes, you have a chance to greatly influence not only what happens, but how it happens.
As Thomas Edison once said, opportunity is missed by people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Our advice? Roll up your sleeves, get involved. You just might be surprised at how satisfying it is to play a part in the future of your community.